some technical difficulties. We should have a technical difficulty sign. That'd be great. Is this better? Distorted in and out. Status interference, NSA. Distortion of sound is bad. Okay. Well, yeah. All right. So it looks like it's not picking up. Okay. So, oh, there you go. Somebody say, yay. Somebody say. Somebody say. All right. Oh my gosh. Thanks so much. Okay. We're going to do this all over again. Now you can hear me. Thank you. Really appreciate the feedback. Okay. All right, let's just pretend I wasn't here. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for the help. So yeah, welcome everybody. It's me, the Philosopher, and here we are, the first monthly live stream show that we have where we cover all the topics from all my supporters, whether it's Subscribestar, Patreon. Well, those are the places right now. And so they help pick the topics, and we got some segments for you today. But I just want to give a shout out to everybody that's in the chat here. Just thanking people like Christian, Mises Caucus, great designs. It's great now. Anyone need a YouTube link? Thank you. Really appreciate it. Yeah, YouTube is the place to go, like you said. But yeah, thanks, KV. Awesome. Marcelo, thank you so much. Drac, Deep State Shenanigans. That's right. Just kidding. It was more like personal shenanigans. Awesome. What's up, Steven? Hey, thanks for coming. It's great. Jennifer, Josh, all these people in the house. Oh, that's great. I'm glad. Space Ghost Supreme. Awesome. Matthew, thanks for coming. Well, Christopher, cool. There's so many people. I'm so glad you guys are so excited. Awesome. Hey, Dale. Born Free, Die Try. Awesome. Well, yeah. So this is the first of the live stream show, like I said. And we've been doing I've been doing Philosopher for like 6-7 years now, since 2015, end of 2015, but I started making videos in summer of 2016. So that's when it started. It's been a long time, very long. And we've had lots of different producers or my sponsors throughout the years, which I've really been grateful for. And we're really changing things up. As you can see, content has also changed over the years as well. Going from more like short informational videos to having now live streams where I get a chance to interact with you guys every month, and also music videos and other things like that. So it's just really exciting to be able to transition like this. So I hope you'll enjoy it, and know that there will be an iterative process, of course, as with anything new, you learn along the way. So I hope you'll stay and you'll enjoy the ride. There's going to be some segments, so we're still going to have a topic chosen. Like I said, if you're one of my subscribers right now on Patreon or Subscribestar, you can help choose the monthly live stream topic. So we'll go over that. And we'll also have segments on current events, just what's going on, what happened in the recent month or since we last were together. Also some memes, I like making memes. I like reviewing memes, and seeing people's thoughts in a quick, artful way. So yeah, I'm excited for that, and definitely still gonna thank our sponsors. So I'm just excited for the show. So yeah, that's the format. I hope you'll enjoy it, and let's go ahead and move into the main topic here.
Yes, freeze.
We call this segment philosophy.
Yes, freeze.
I'm the Philosopher, and we still say yes, please around here because you just, gosh, you just want some fun, and I just want some freedom. Fun and freedom. Yes, please. Okay, so we're gonna go over how the U.S. Army was used to spy on Americans. And this was a topic chosen. Thanks so much again, supporters. So yeah, let's talk about this event happening in the late 1960s. So Army intelligence, that is U.S. federal government Army intelligence, established a data gathering system of surveilling American political activity in the late 1960s. So we're going to go over these different things. You can see this is a very old article. I'm probably not going to read through all of this, but I'm just going to go over just the main points of what happened here in the late 1960s. So it was found that the Army maintained files on the membership, ideology, programs, and practices of virtually every activist political group in the country. And if you've been a libertarian for a while, I mean, like, you know this, and you know this continues today, like, especially if you've been involved in the Libertarian Party in any capacity, you know some of this. So but this is in the late 1960s when it apparently started from the Army. So including groups such as the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, Clergy and Laymen United Against the War in Vietnam, the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, Women's Strike for Peace, and the National Association for the Advancements of Colored People. So it's different groups across the board. You can see it's just different kinds of political groups that have been targeted, that the government has targeted. And the Army, so the way they were found to have gone through and surveilled different people and their different political affiliations, they would use undercover agents to infiltrate civilian groups and to reach into confidential files of students and other groups as well. So digging into personal files and opening those up and just understanding what's going on there, just no privacy at all. And unbeknownst to the people whose files and information they're reading and going through. The Army also moved as a secret group among civilian audiences using cameras and electronic ears for surveillance. And, since then, technology has only advanced. This is the late 1960s. So electronic ears, cameras, I mean, now you have AI, you have different surveillance cameras everywhere, not just on their bodies. The data it collected, or the Army collected at this time, are distributed to civilian officials in state, federal, and local governments, and to each military intelligence unit and troop command under the Army's jurisdiction. So both here and abroad. And this data is stored in one or more data banks. And there was a congressional analysis of this that took place in 1972 with the Committee on the Judiciary's brief, the Army Surveillance of Civilians. So this was the committee that took place. And what they found was really interesting. I mean, it's similar to, like, if you read different findings about the NSA, it's like, wow, that's where your tax dollars are going. That's what this Federal Reserve System funds, and this inflation, your future debt, the stealing of your wealth through all different means, whether direct or indirectly through prices and taxation. So yeah, what they found was the Army had some 350 record centers. There were over 120,000 files on personalities of interest. Again, this is the late 1960s. That this happened. So again, the technology has only increased, right? In the late 1960s, computers were not how they were today. So you have the capacity to store so much more data. And this, the point of this topic is more just covering like historical events of where certain things started to really advance with at least the US federal government into a major surveillance state. So in addition, there were 113,000 references to organizations, 152,000 references to individuals, and the Army monitored the political activities of at least 100,000 civilians who were unaffiliated with the armed forces. So it's just all these different people being monitored, having their privacy breached secretly, and they're forced to fund it. And lastly, there was a journalist, Christopher H. Pyle. While he was an Army captain in intelligence, he learned that Army intelligence had 1,500 plainclothes agents watching every demonstration of 20 people or more throughout the United States. So any demonstration at the time, he found that there were over 1,000 agents there just watching. So that is really fascinating to see the historical the beginnings, partially, of the surveillance state that we have, the massive military and surveillance state. So let's dig into a case actually related to this, and this is Laird versus Tatum in 1972. I think that's how you pronounce Laird. Yeah. So this is okay. So we'll just read some of this. So in Laird v. Tatum, we have 408 U.S. 1, 1972, the Supreme Court decided to dismiss a challenge to an Army surveillance program directed at civilians on the basis that the chilling effect on First Amendment rights the civilians were alleging was too speculative to establish legal standing. So they just dismissed it. Army surveilled civilians during Vietnam War. So the Army had initiated a surveillance program which consisted mostly of gathering news clippings and some direct observation by Army personnel in order to be prepared if it were called to quell civil disturbances. So protests against the war, the Vietnam War. And you can, like I said earlier, one of the groups surveilled, political groups surveilled, were like clergy and laymen united against the war in Vietnam. So that was, this period of time. Civilians sued Secretary of Defense on First Amendment grounds. Although the individuals the government was watching did not point to any direct harm, they initiated a class action suit against Secretary of Defense Melvin Laird based on their First Amendment concerns. The district court had dismissed the case, but the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals had reversed. So, all right, the Supreme Court said surveillance program did not cause actual harm. So this is whoever, judges are in control there at the time. They're the ones just stating this. Writing for the 5-person majority, Chief Justice Warren E. Burger. Okay, start restaurant. Okay, noted that the civilians could not point to any specific actions taken against them. They could point only to the existence of an intelligence gathering program. Previous cases in which the court had struck down activities that chilled freedom of expression had rested on actual objective harm or a threat of specific future harm that individuals experienced, rather than resting preliminarily on a subjective chill, or primarily on a subjective chill. Berger rejected the idea that the judiciary should act as a constant monitor of Army surveillance activities. Okay, so anyway, that's his reasoning for it. Sufficient reasoning that he didn't violate any privacy of Americans. Dissenters thought surveillance of citizens went too far. And this is just a funny article, just labeling them as dissenters, but whatever. So these people, there are people who are also against and thought the surveillance of citizens went too far. I'm in that camp, I think, definitely. In a stinging dissent, Justice William O. Douglas described the Army's power to conduct civilian surveillance as a cancer in our body politic. I agree. He intoned, submissiveness is not our heritage. The First Amendment was designed to allow rebellion. The Constitution was designed to keep government off the backs of the people. The Bill of Rights was added to keep the precincts of belief and expression of the press, of political and social activities free from surveillance. So, yeah, I like his counter argument, and I think it's wrong that it was dismissed, this case. In a separate dissent, William J. Brennan Jr. argued that the respondents had established the basis for a justiciable case. Okay. The case was controversial in part because Justice William H. Rehnquist refused to recuse himself, although he had been a member of the administration as head of the Office of Legal Counsel and had testified about the program to Congress before becoming a justice. This became an issue in his confirmation hearings for Chief Justice in 1986. Fascinating. So civilians, lastly, still lack standing in similar 2013 case. So Still lacking standing, still lacking justice. Several years later, in Clapper v. Amnesty International, this is in 2013, petitioners tried to argue that the government's ability to conduct surveillance on foreign powers or agents under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, had a chilling effect on their communications with overseas contacts. But the Supreme Court ruled they lacked standing to challenge the law. So, it is interesting. You read this article, I just have to call out like the term, like I said, the words, right? The words matter so much. This is a .edu article earlier. It says like the Supreme Court ruled, civilians or dissenters said this. And I particularly think the verbiage would be slanted towards the government in that case and more favorable. Of just like, see, it's the Supreme Court ruled and everything. But anyway, so that's really fascinating. Let's look at this is more of the dissenting opinion here. So let's actually expand on the quote dissenters of the Supreme Court in this case. All right, so let's read. All right, yeah, thanks for zooming it. Yeah, so. And you can see, if you see the scroll bar on the far right, it's very small. So it's a long article. All right. If Congress had passed a law, this is the dissenting opinion. Congress had passed a law authorizing the armed services to establish surveillance over the civilian population, a most serious constitutional problem would be presented. There is, however, no law authorizing surveillance over civilians, which in this case the Pentagon concededly had undertaken. The question is whether such authority may be implied. One can search the Constitution in vain for any such authority. And I mean, this is just going, talking about the specific U.S. federal government and saying, hey, this is the document you say you follow, right? So it's just the Constitution. It's just arguing from a constitutional perspective that it was not warranted surveillance of Americans. So yeah, that I definitely agree. We could probably keep reading here. The start of the problem is the constitutional distinction between the militia and the armed forces. By Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, the militia is specifically confined to precise duties: to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions. This obviously means that the militia cannot be sent overseas to fight wars. It is purely a domestic arm of the governors of the several states, save as it may be called under Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution to the federal service. Whether the militia could be given powers comparable to those granted the FBI is a question not now raised, for we deal here not with the militia, but with armies. The Army, Navy, and Air Force are comprehended in the constitutional term armies. Article 1, Section 8 provides that Congress may raise and support armies and provide and maintain a navy and make rules for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces. And the Fifth Amendment accepts from the requirement of a presentment or indictment of a grand jury cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger. All right. So, yeah, well, okay. Let's continue here. Acting under that authority, Congress has provided a code governing the armed services. That code sets the procedural standards for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces. It is difficult to imagine how those powers can be extended to military surveillance over civilian affairs. So, basically, it's just arguing again from a constitutional perspective that while there are certain powers granted to the government when it comes to like repelling against like wars and stuff like that, they're just arguing that there was no such case going on here for these civilians to be spied upon. So so that is the topic for today. So yeah. You're welcome, and thanks so much, everybody. So I'll go over this again. I had mentioned this earlier, but after we had read all that, so let's review again the congressional analysis of this that took place in 1972 with the Committee on the Judiciary's brief, and it's called "The Army's Surveillance of Civilians." So talking about this time, and again, what they had. We'll actually go through the document. I had summarized it earlier, but yeah, I guess we'll go through it here. Or actually, I'll just okay, all right, okay, I will. Oh, it's me. So yeah, I'll just go through and summarize it again. All right, so the Army had some 350 record centers. There were over 120,000 files on personalities of interest, and there were 113,000 references to different organizations. So just spanning across the U.S. there. 152,000 references to individuals. And the Army monitored the political activities of at least 100,000 civilians who were unaffiliated with the armed forces. So that's what they actually found, and they actually confirmed, technically what I think the dissenters were saying, that not only was this unconstitutional, unlawful according to their document, but they really were just surveilling so many different people across the board. It seemed just without any sort of discretion. So yeah. Well, thanks so much to all the people that helped to choose that topic. I think that was a good topic to just show, and to basically, I guess, moral of the story is, let's end taxation and end the Federal Reserve. I mean, I just always go back to that. And we're going to move.
Yes, freeze.
Information, which is where we go over some current events. So first segment of current events in a while. But first, I want to thank our sponsors who make this possible, especially our producers. So I'm gonna pull this up. Yes, so CJ Roasting, Custom Joe Roasting Coffee. This is organic fair trade coffee. I have a promo code FA-2022. And it's for 10% off everything bundles. So if you go to just www.cjroasting.com, that's where you can check out some organic coffee. Give it a taste. Let me know how it goes, and give them a review as well. Just great Liberty people here. And I just want to thank you so much, Custom Joe Roasting. Really appreciate your sponsorship and your support. And Crawford K. McDonald, thanks so much, longtime fiducer with Taggart Atlantic Healthcare. Really appreciate your sponsorship. It's been a long time together, along with Zach Lukowski. Zach's awesome, been a fiducer for a long time. And since the beginning, 2016, yep, far back. And that's a picture with him and Ron Paul, the great Ron Paul. Awesome. And Agorist Nexus. So Agorist Nexus is awesome. Been a fiducer for a while, and I really appreciate the different opportunities over the year. For example, Agorist Drip. If you haven't heard that song, you should check it out. I really like it, especially if you like agorism. You should check it out. So thanks so much, Agorist Nexus, for all your support and everything. And check out their website, agoristnexus.com. Awesome. Well, cool. We can move back into the information section. It's like a fancy way here on this.
Yes, freeze.
I really like pho. I like pho, and I'm excited. I get to have pho soon, made with a mother's love. All right, so we're gonna go through some current events going on. All right. So first one, you've probably seen memes. If you're like me, that's kind of like your first point of like, hey, what's going on, right? So, and if you read this article, so we have the World Economic Forum meeting that actually happened just yesterday. It just ended for 4 days. It's their annual meeting in Davos. So had all these different kinds of people attending. Um, yeah, especially U.S. government officials as well traveling to Davos. Let's read some of their names. So we have Secretary of Labor Martin Walsh, Director of National Intelligence Avril Haines, United States Trade Representative Ambassador Catherine Tai, Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation FBI Christopher Wray. Okay, you got the Director of the FBI over here. Okay, United States Agency for International Development Administrator Samantha Power. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate, John Kerry. Oh, God, John Kerry. Senator still around. Geez, he just moves around. Like these political people just like move to different positions. Senator Chris Coons, all these different senators, Senator Marie Cantwell, Senator Joe Manchin, Representative Brendan Boyle, Joaquin Castro, Madeline Dean. Frankly, a lot of nameless faces for me. The one I know the most is just John Kerry, but it's like, just because he, ran for president and like talk about climate change so much. But yeah, all these different people attending to talk about world domination. So yeah, that's going on. Klaus Schwab, Great Reset stuff.
It's crazy how many people who are in government are over there, isn't it?
Hello. It is. It is. Very crazy. What's your tax dollars funds? All right, I'm just gonna say that's a theme. I just want to end taxation, abolish the Federal Reserve. I just think it's wrong. It's slavery, and we should just end slavery. Why do we keep slavery going? All right, what's next? So, we got here banning gas stoves gets Americans' blood boiling. So let's see where this is at. So I think this is on the federal. Is this the no. Okay, so sometimes it's the little things. One that cause people to ban new gas stoves. Commissioner of the Consumer Product Safety Commission has suggested could be the dicta that finally brings Americans to rebel against the government's incessant, autocratic, ultimately assaulting intrusion into daily lives. The European Union found that out the hard way. Okay, so this is all the EU. I got it. Just 3 weeks before the British went to the polls to vote on whether they wanted to remain in the EU, reports leaked that the unelected bureaucrats in Brussels planned to ban electric tea kettles that were a staple of British kitchens because they use too much electricity. So yeah, for Americans that might not sound like a big deal, but for the average Brit, already incensed that some 80% of new regulations were flowing from Brussels and not Parliament, it was the last straw. So a lot of stuff's going on in Britain. I see. They just mentioned Americans as like Americans' opinion on this. That's fun. It just keeps going. History, Americans and Brits. All right. So the proposed limits on small appliances would have meant that the time required to boil water would have increased from an average 2 minutes and 30 seconds to 5 minutes. For a country consuming 62 billion cups of tea each year, that was an affront. I mean, you're messing with the Brits and the tea, okay. Polling shifted in favor of Brexit, and indeed, Great Britain shocked the world in June 2016 by voting to leave the EU all those years ago. Hey, about when I started this and started making videos. In the US today, we face similar irksome invasions of our homes and our freedom of choice. We already lost incandescent light bulbs. The government issued new specs for lighting last year that have effectively taken the familiar bulbs off the market. We also are forbidden to buy appliances like certain washer dryers and items like toilets that actually work. I remember like the toilets part, because just like older toilets actually flush better. Like they're much stronger. And so that's like a direct limit from the government here in America. People will spend almost anything to keep their old Maytag functioning, right? Well aware that the mandated energy saving replacements aren't nearly as effective. Now, it seems some Washington bureaucrats want to get rid of gas stoves, the go-to appliance for anyone who takes cooking seriously, used in about 40% of American households. Right. I don't know if you've seen recently these different memes with gas stoves. I shared one where it's like you have like Kamala Harris, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Jill Biden, and Nancy Pelosi. They're all using gas stoves, and they're like, doing Instagram live or whatever. And they're like, look at me, I'm cooking. They're using gas But now it's like, oh, no more gas. You know, they just want you poor. They don't care. They're going to keep cooking with their gas stoves. So, yeah, right. 40% of American households use gas stoves. That's huge. Though ostensibly stemming from concerns about children's health, the idea of a ban almost certainly relates to climate policies as well. So you're going to see that a lot more of governments around the world, you know, the WEF, World Economic Forum, all these different people plotting to take more of your liberties, control you more and your wealth. You're going to see climate continue to be a reason they refer to for taking away your rights. For the federal government to ban gas stoves and generally to oppose natural gas as an energy source is nuts. The reason that greenhouse emissions declined 20% in the United States between 2005 and 2020 is that we have replaced coal and oil with cleaner, abundant, and cheap natural gas. Since 2005, we have doubled our production of natural gas thanks to horizontal drilling and fracking, which has also reduced our reliance on imported oil, aka the reason the federal government goes to war, and they just at least create to go to war, and they're like, we need the oil. Okay. Americans have benefited enormously from the switch from coal to natural gas. Our air is cleaner, and the boom in natural gas production has kept energy costs low. Real electricity prices, adjusted for inflation, have held remarkably steady over the last 2 decades. The proposed prohibition comes from the CPSC's Richard Trumka Jr., who was nominated by President Biden to fill a CPSC seat in 2021. Trumka, not to be confused with Trump. Oh, okay, we're gonna move on to different show, but yeah. So all the different things.
Crazy how they're trying to stop
going on.
People from having independence, right, from the grid.
Yeah, and not have their, freedom, whether it's toilets or gas stoves or what. They just want to control you and take over everything. So speaking of how they continue to do that, let's see what else is going on in current events. So this is an article from January 10th, very recently. Facial recognition leads to a week-long wrongful imprisonment of somebody. So apparently this is in Louisiana. Louisiana police have few, if any, restrictions on using facial recognition. So that's anyone in Louisiana? That sucks. Okay. So yeah, let's go through some of the details here. So a false facial recognition match last fall led to an arrest and a week-long detention before police admitted they made a mistake. The police currently aren't providing information on which facial recognition algorithm they used or how it led to a false identification. So that is crazy that somebody is in prison for that long and they really didn't do anything. They're just innocent. And this is in Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. They used facial recognition to secure an arrest warrant for 28-year-old Randall Reed for a $7,500 June purse robbery at a consignment shop in Metairie, the New Orleans advisor. Right. So Metairie, that must be Louisiana somewhere. I'm not familiar with Louisiana, but I'm going to assume that's Louisiana. Then Baton Rouge. I'm pretty sure that's Louisiana. Yeah, Baton Rouge. Police used Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office identification to identify Reed as one of 3 thieves who allegedly stole another purse worth $2,800 that same week. Wow. So when police pulled Reed over on Interstate 20 in DeKalb County, Georgia, on November 25th on the way to a late Thanksgiving family gathering, Reed said he had never been to Louisiana and doesn't steal. Police booked Reed into a county jail as a fugitive, but released him on December 1st. Attorney Tommy Calogero said JPSO detectives tacitly admitted an error. So relax. So while Calogero admitted Reed bears a close resemblance to one of the robbers, stark differences could have cleared Reed earlier. That's just really interesting to me that it would I would be curious how exactly did it lead to that? So is it just like an automatic trigger, and you get the warrant, or doesn't somebody review it? I don't know. So these include a mole in Reed's face and a roughly 40-pound difference between Reed and the alleged thief. The thief's flabby arms being a tell. I mean, that just seems like something you could really quickly tell, especially if you have a mole on your face. I mean, it's right there, right? I mean, police could have also checked Reed's height, and he would have compiled with a search of his home. I mean, they even got the height wrong. That's crazy. Reed, meanwhile, feared losing his job and getting felony convictions for something he didn't do. I mean, that's horrible. Was it coming from or to a Thanksgiving gathering? I forgot. But that's, just interrupted on the highway, That's just what's going on there. What'd you pay for? Yep. Interesting indeed. Very messed up. So yeah, it seems like almost just an automated process. And it seems like it was recent that they rescinded a 2-year facial recognition ban, but they enacted rules for using that technology. They can only use facial recognition to generate leads and require high-ranking approval to lodge a request. So what happened in this case? Using the technology also mandates peer review by other facial recognition. Okay. Other Louisiana. Okay. How many more requests in the department made it? Okay. So other Louisiana jurisdictions, however, appear to have no constraints for facial recognition. I see. So in the state of Louisiana, there's different jurisdictions, and some allow it and some don't. So all right. Wow. And in 2021, there were actually 3 facial recognition requests. Okay. According to public records. How many more requests the department made in 2022? Wow. Fascinating. So there is just, just a lot of surveillance going on. I mean, the surveillance state is here. I mean, it's not coming. We live in it. I mean, we are in the fight now to end all these things, and we're just the current generations alive that are tasked with trying to stop this. So while we're doing that, we're gonna still have some fun. We're gonna show some memes. Maybe we'll show
Yes, freeze.
funny memes. And I mean, maybe there'll be some fun, but we'll see. So yeah, let's see what's going on here. All right. So so I've seen this raw strength only once before. Okay. You're right. That's okay. Yeah, he's just, putting it away for for church. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, that's like when you get 11 laughs. Okay, when you get 11 likes on Facebook, how to handle fame. Google. Got it. So that's funny, right? Someone's thinks they're famous from 11 likes. Okay. Back in my day, there was so much toilet paper and eggs that we would throw them at the houses of our enemies. Oh man, that's like that's a very timely inflation joke. It's rough. It's getting rough out there. Expensive toilet paper and eggs. All right, me, another person realizing they aren't just conspiracy theories. Person. It's funny. It's good. It's good. Makes me giggle, By Dr. Us or US. One thief, two thief, red thief, blue thief. Yeah, I get it, right? Democrats, Republicans, you got the over the White House there. Yeah, let's just go back to at least the Articles of Confederation. That'd be at least a step. Okay, if I won the lottery, I like the not-for-profit government model. All right, if I win the lottery, I won't tell anybody, but there will be hints. All right, so eggs are really, really expensive right now, and you got some raw eggs right here. So selling those, stacking them raw eggs. If this is your first night at Waffle House, you have to fight. I guess that's the first rule of Waffle House. So that's funny, Brad Pitt. Okay, that's a nice, lighthearted social media post you got there. It'd be a shame if someone were to take it the wrong way. That's a nice touch. The modern like nose cow piercing. That's cool. That's funny. Very modern, you know. Dark rim glasses, Clark. No. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Okay. This guy looks familiar, but I don't know off the top of my head that guy. I mean, on the left, obviously I know that's Elon Musk, but I know, and I saw that haircut. I'm like, okay, new Twitter CEO. That's interesting. Or was that before? I
Who
can't
knows who it
remember.
is in the audience?
All right, who in the audience knows who this is? Tell me. His ears are so pointy. Okay, well, someone will tell me maybe. All right. People who have their own chickens right now. That's hilarious. That's true. I've seen so many memes. I know some of these people, they got the chickens and the eggs. Oh, it says someone said Gary Oldman, Fifth Element. Yes, Fifth Element. That's right. I think. Yeah. Yeah, that sci-fi movie with Gary Oldman and Bruce Willis. But never seen either. Forgot name. LOL. Okay, well, you got it. I said I wouldn't do that after the last stream, but I did it again. All right. It's fun. All right. Really That Big, reviewed in the United States on February 2020. Perfect. Just what I wanted. I don't know if this is real, but the person's name is me in all caps. It's funny. All right. Every so often, there comes a blue dog to guide the generations. 100. It's like you got Snoop Dogg, Blue Dog. You got man, the name escapes me, but I watched that show a lot. I thought his owner was cool. Yeah, someone probably knows. And then the left, that's like, is that like? See, I didn't watch that often. Is that like Yogi? No, it's like Yogi Bear. Oh, no, on the far right, I don't know. That seems like newer. I don't think I've seen that before. Blue's Clues. There you go. See, access the memory. Blue's Clues. Blue's Clues. Blue's Clues. Back when kid shows were simple, you know. Hey, let's have fun solving a puzzle, not watching people make out. Jeez. Okay. What is this? This looks horrible. Okay, Lycee Cat. Normally, I would not post a bathtub picture, but I just want to let everyone know that Chinese takeout floats. This is critical info. Well, I really appreciate it. And I don't know if she talks like that. I assume it's a girl, but that's hilarious. Makes sense because it's styrofoam, right? Flight, select your spot. Okay, I'll try to understand this. This is like immediately abstract for me. Wait, what? I mean, is this a game? Okay.
Birds fly in what formation?
Oh, a triangle, a V, upside down V, an arrow. I don't know. Anyone know? These dogs are guiding us off a cliff. Is that what it means? No, it's not. Okay, well, fine. V flock. I don't get it. Okay, well, thanks, Andy. All right. Customs and Border Protection, the CBP, said they saw an uptick of 108% in egg seizures in the last 3 months of 2022. That's crazy. So as a result, egg smuggling cases double at U.S.-Mexico border as prices skyrocket. All right, yeah, that's insane. Yeah, that's crazy that they would seize eggs.
Shows you. People are willing to do what they can to get some eggs.
People will, but the more annoying point is just that the government's like stopping all these people from just getting eggs. Like they're just trading, you know, like jeez. Gosh. So annoyed. Bird is picking his spot in the V formation. Oh, I get it right. Thanks, Jonathan. Dad jokes. All right. Someone's getting ready. Me clicks on Chrome. Chrome doesn't open. Me clicks on Chrome 18 times. Chrome. I forgot the sounds like. Okay, that's horrible. But it's like I can't do it. But yeah. Not. All right, stop. Look close. Wait, look good. Fool's chocolate. What? Don't be fooled. Raisins can be anywhere. Vigilance is your only protection against the dreaded fool's chocolate. Okay, that is really funny because, like, I actually really like the ones with raisins. I don't mind the chocolate though, but that's hilarious. All right. Athletes in peak physical condition and with no prior history of heart problems be like, yeah, so we know what's going on. Let's get vaccinated, everybody. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Safe and effective. Especially if you're in heavy sports that use your heart. Very safe. Get it. Feed Big Pharma. Okay. Progressives. Is this fascism? Okay, so they're saying gun rights. Okay. Power away from the executive. Decentralization, less government regulation of the economy. Is this fascism? Oh gosh. You just got to teach people terms, like let's use terms correctly. No, this is government. Government collusion in the market and intervention. We gotta stop it. Frick. All right. Ron Paul tells fans he comes out of his bunker with his wife Carol and his kids. Ron Paul tells fans he is sorry he couldn't do more as he seals up his bunker. Goodbye. What year is this? This isn't real. Don't worry. This isn't current events. This is why this is the meme section, not the current events section. Evolution of hip hop. Oh, I like this. Okay, you got the 80s. Yeah. Back when it was, right there, fresh, mixing all the jazz. This is great. Instruments. Yeah, dancing. Okay, 90s, we got drugs and guns. All right, it's cold. It's a cold world out there. It's cold. I'm very familiar with the 80s and 90s rap. It's fun. It's good vibes. That's right. 80s was more happy and upbeat. That's so true. And like dancing, like woo. And then it's like, yeah, get up. And the 90s is like, dang, things are cold. War on drugs. Like, dude, look, like that's when the height of the war on drugs was happening too, right? Like the crack epidemic, drug war against marijuana. You had all this. So yeah, that's really good. Whoever drew this, 2000s, that's when things started getting crunk. Yay! You got Lil Jon. So things started to become more and more associative. You could say, okay, 2010s, you got is this the rocker? Oh, Skater Boys, right? Skater boy rap. You got Lil Wayne over here, right? Skater boy rap. And yeah, the latest and greatest, we got like Lil Pump, he's like Homer Simpson, and I guess this person saying all those eras were cool. 80s, 90s, thousands, even the 10s, but the 20s, oh, I guess it's just horrible. It's just like we're all on drugs. Let's do things like not like our life and be sad and not fight for liberty. Yeah. And be tax slaves. All right. That's a really good meme / drawing. That was great. Okay. Recipe. Add 6 eggs to batter. Me. I'm never going to financially recover from this. Well, the key here is to just not make it. Okay. That's funny, Joe Exotic. That's a good one. That's good. Well, that was the fun meme section. Right. Ron Paul tried. I agree. He tried to tell us, it's always good to share to your current timeline old good liberty segments, whether it's Ron Paul, Rothbard, you share it with people and also people modernly now, there's a lot of people. So yeah, that was fun. It's been almost an hour over here together. It's been fun. I hope you guys are enjoying the chat together. And what do you think? What was your favorite segment? Give me feedback of this new show. I definitely want to thank the sponsors again. So let's do that. Close out with some sponsors. And just want to really appreciate all the producers, especially who make this shows like this possible. And
Like this or this one?
Hmm?
Like this or this one?
Well, shows like this in terms of like shows that I do, like this one. So like Agorist Nexus helping over here. We got go to agoristnexus.com. Check that out. Community of Agorist. Maybe a seller, maybe a buyer. Beto Destrafa, thank you so much for your support. Really, really appreciate you. The past several years here, hanging in there, enjoying the ride. You got Custom Joe Roasting, organic fair trade coffee. And I got a promo code here if you want 10% off their everything bundles. That's at cjroasting.com. So yeah, thank you so much, producers. Oh, and there's also Taggart Atlantic Healthcare with Crawford K. McDonald. Thank you, Crawford, for all the years of support. Really appreciate you. And Zach Likowski over here. I mean, it's not Ron Paul on the left. That's Zach on the right. And yeah, thanks so much, Zach, for all the support. Wouldn't be here without you, and I just really appreciate it. And our hangouts have been fun. 5-6 years of hangouts, which coming to a close, but transitioning to a group. But yeah, I'm excited. It's really thankful for those hangs. Okay, so we got great ideas here. We have one idea from Sharper. You should have a section about Liberty wins or positive Liberty news. Oh, I love that. That's great. Like we could even like break down the segments potentially. I'll think of that. Maybe like break down the segments of current events by like, hey, this is what's going on in the status realm, things to watch out for, right? Things to be vigilant about of what they're trying to do and to inform others of what to be aware of and to stop. But also like positive Liberty news, like whether it's daily defensive gun uses. I mean, we still post that on Facebook. So yeah, we can cover some of those as well, or any good initiatives, maybe cool events that are coming up as well in the Liberty space. So yeah, that's exciting. Thank you. Appreciate that, Sharper, like that. So think on that more. Military spying on public was interesting. Yeah, it's that was interesting to me too. Just how massive it was, and just how many thousands of federal agents, part of the military, were involved in just spying on Americans. Not about actually like defending from actual threats and harms, against Americans. So yeah, thank you to all the sponsors. Thanks for the ideas. I just want to remind you that if you want to help choose the next topic for our future and monthly live stream shows, next month will be, of course, February. So if you want to help choose a topic, just head on over to my Patreon or Subscribestar. That's patreon.com/thepholosopher or subscribestar.com. I think it's also /thepholosopher, if I'm not mistaken. But
Link in description.
Yeah, links are in the description. So just look down there. It's all there. Or on my website, thepholosopher.com. That's easier for you. So yeah, awesome. Well, Big Zed thought it was a great show. Awesome. Well, that's awesome. Oh, and the last thing I want to mention though, I will be coming to an event in the PN Dub. I don't know if anyone's in the PN Dub, the Pacific Northwest, that is, or Washington State. Excuse me. So anyone around there, Idaho, Idaho, Oregon, California, Vegas people, whatever, and the Washingtonians, of course. If you're going to be in that area, Libertarian Party of Washington is going to be there. I'll be over there representing my ANCAP self, and of course, the Mises Caucus of Florida. What's up? Okay, I'm just kidding. Just, myself and Liberty, and I like the Mises Caucus. So yeah, I'll be at the LP Washington event. Check that out. It's from March 24th to 26th, Friday through Sunday. So yeah, hope to see you there, and be cool to meet you in person. Jack and I are actually going to be headlining for the event. To be determined exactly what will be going on details wise, but next month in February, definitely will fill you in before the event, so you'll know details. So hope to see you guys there, and I'm sure I'll mention again. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Drac, Big Zed, Dale, Andy, Memory Man. That's good. Thank you so much for hanging out, everyone that came tonight. I really hope you liked the new show. And thanks so much for helping me in the beginning as well with those slight audio issues. So yeah, thank you. Oh, great work being out live. I would have got banned probably. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. Take care. And I hope to see you next month. And I hope to see you